What is up, my purposeful people? Welcome back to my channel. So I'm gonna do a little different type of style today. I've never done this on my locks, but I have been going through the 2-strand twist to twist out style to achieve my curls when I wear my locks. But I really just love the way my curls look. So I'm like, there's gotta be other ways to achieve curls, figure it out. So I bought some rollers. I bought enough of these to put in my hair. So it's just a cheap plastic roller. It secures the hair and then it locks in the end so that it can keep it fastened in this band. There was some trial and error with figuring out how to achieve the curls, because when I had natural hair, it was a whole lot easier to put a section in a roller and then just have it work. If it was too much hair, I would take some out and then it would work just fine. In my mind, what I wanted to do was use these. So these are like little rubber rollers, and the vision looked great in my head. All I was gonna do is I was gonna take a lock, wrap it around this thing, pop it back over, but with the thickness of my locks, it was not gonna work. It was not gonna work at all. So I was like, I really have to figure out the process of how I am going to successfully achieve curls. So I went to the beauty supply store, I picked up these rollers, I tried it out, but it was, again, not successful. The reason being is because the ends of my locks would just slowly start to come out. It would be loose, it would be unraveled, and I didn't think I would successfully achieve tight curls while putting these in. I just got out of the shower from washing my hair. I already oiled it up, and the goal is to have all of these in with my locks still being somewhat wet because they dry super fast. So I'm gonna talk and do at the same time, but the goal is to put all of these in. And I figured out that if I tuck the end of my lock into this little hole where I fasten the roller so that it's secure, I think it'll stay. Let's see how this goes. I'm just going to do it like this, and then the end of the lock, I'm gonna slide it down a little bit so that it'll be secure. Then the end of the lock will just sort of sit inside the hole here. And then hopefully, once I secure this inside, it snaps in and holds that little bit of hair so that it doesn't unravel and untwist. I think it's gonna be good. I'm gonna keep going. The goal is to get through all of these, but while I'm getting through these, I do wanna talk to you all about growth. Growth is something that's super high on my priority list at this point of my life. I have been a pretty self-aware person for a lot of my life, but I think there's a difference between self-awareness and then taking action when you are self-aware, because I know a lot of us are very aware of, you know, when we respond a certain way or we do something a certain way and we're like, I wish I didn't do it that way, but then we don't always do anything about it. And I'm trying to be proactive with my healing journey. As humans, we suffer from a lot of trauma in life, and I think there are some people that I have met who are in their 70s, 80s, 90s that are still suffering from some of the same trauma that they struggled with in their very adolescent years. So I think to, in one way, break generational trauma. No, and I'm trying to remove the phrase I think from my vocabulary. I'm gonna do it. I'm literally doing it. I'm in the process of working on it. So I am working on different ways to overcome trauma that I've faced, but more importantly, how I react and respond to situations. Now I can look back at different ways that I have reacted and responded in life, and I do my best to not beat myself up for it. Did I make mistakes? 100%. Did I hurt people? Absolutely. Did I, you know, the list goes on. There are different things that I did where I, you know, could sit here and say, oh, I wish I could have done it this way, or I wish I could have changed it, but you can't control what happened in the past. I don't care how bad it was. I don't care how many people you hurt or how much hurt you went through. You cannot change the decisions you've already made. So with that, I am struggling with this. So it's tough because my locks are so thick, so I can't put too much hair in the bottom or else this little cap will not fit in the bottom of it. So I'm hoping that when I did this trial run, I didn't just so happen to use like really skinny locks to do it, but Lord, give me strength with this. I need to figure out a method that's gonna work for every single one of these locks. Even if it's just a little bit of hair, I just need it to stay. Okay, yeah. Okay, there were moments that I did not like how I responded or reacted to situations, and I'm not saying this was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. There's probably something I did yesterday where I'm like, I don't like how I reacted in that moment. So how can I change my behavior? I'm making an effort to change what I can and not beat myself up for mistakes that I've made, because I am self-aware. I am setting a goal to improve on a behavior or work on some childhood trauma, and that is a good thing. So give yourself some grace. I know sometimes we shame ourselves or beat ourselves up because we're like, like that was a big mistake. I can't believe I did that. And we dwell and we let it just eat us up. But I think one thing but one thing we need to remember is that we are human and we are going to make mistakes and we're going to hurt people and we're going to do things in ways that we didn't plan or intend. But the important thing is that we are meant to change over time. And we're meant to improve, and we're meant to get better and learn from our mistakes. That's, the whole purpose of why we're here. Well, the whole purpose of why I'm here. I don't know why you're here. I'm feeling good about this process, and they're all staying, so I'm going with it. I have a plan B if my hair is not dry by morning time, but something that I do love about locks is that they dry very quickly. I'm not sure if I said this in the beginning, but I did already put oil on my hair. I didn't dry my hair at all getting out of the shower, but because my hair absorbs water like nobody's business. So I'm hoping that when I take these rollers out, it's giving what I'm hoping for. Oh, shoot. Yeah. So what I'm learning and realizing is that curling your locks is for sure going to be easier if you have smaller locks. If you have skinnier locks or you have micro locks, I was like micro braids, sister locks, you will be able to achieve a curly look without as many struggles as I'm going through. But I'm not giving up. Another thing about growth that I've been working on is to finish what I start. There have been times where I've started something and I either got in my head because it was difficult, or I got bored, or I convinced myself that I didn't want to do it anymore. But whatever I start, I am trying to finish. So even if I get to the end and I'm like, this didn't work, I at least tried, and then finished the task, and then got to the end, and then could make an executive decision like, it didn't work, because I am now able to see that it didn't work, instead of like looking into the future, second guessing myself, and negatively thinking that it's not going to work. Oh my gosh. I also mentioned in my last video that I try and be as transparent as possible. Like, I don't like the way that social media portrays everyone to be perfect and that everyone has their lives all figured out, because I for sure don't. So these are the struggles that you go through with thick locks. And although I love the thickness of my locks, I do struggle a lot of times when it comes to styling them. If I wanted to wear them straight every day, I wouldn't have these issues, but I don't. I want to wear them curly, and I want to have versatility when it comes to my locks. I want to be able to do a lot of the things that I could do with my natural hair. And that was a huge reason why I decided to lock my hair, was because I did not put the limitations on locks that I've heard a lot of people put on them. I don't like to set limits on myself. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I set limits on myself, and then I think back about it, I'm like, if I speak those limits into existence, then absolutely I will struggle and face those limits. So I'm working on this. I really am. Even though I may not be able to talk about it all the time with people and say, this is what I'm working on and I'm successfully doing it, like I'm working on it. I'm doing my best. I'm starting to see growth in so many different things, so many different people. I'm gonna be honest, fully transparent. I used to be frustrated with other people not growing in the same capacity that I would grow. But now I'm like, why would I expect someone who was created completely different than me and had different experiences as me and just isn't me to grow the exact same way as me? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I'm trying to just make things make sense to me and take my time with things, because good things take time. They really do. Yeah. I'm getting better at these and it's making me happy. How much more do I have? Did I get all the ones on this side? No. Okay. I bought enough. I made sure to count when I was in the store. I think I have like 6 extra, or I will have 6 extra once I have all of my locks curled. But I'm getting a rhythm of this whole lock thing. It was interesting because when I did my locks, I've talked about this in older videos, but I was very intentional about like not doing styles within the first year, and now it's been 2 years. I'm like, it's on and popping. Like, I have been waiting for this moment, and I think I forgot for a little bit. I think while in the season where I was like, my locks are in a huge growth stage. I was gonna call them the ugly stage, but I don't like when people call it the ugly stage, because if it's ugly at one point and it becomes beautiful, like, was it really that ugly, or was it just growing? Was it just flourishing and blossoming? And I also didn't like to call it the ugly stage, because like, how was I gonna go out working at my job or doing something I needed to do outside of my home calling my hair ugly? Like, heck no. And I used to get compliments on my stage where the locks were, some of them were 2 strands, some of them were frizzy, some of them were like, is she locking her hair? What's happening here? But like, I would know that they were not the cutest. I was very well aware of that, but I'm not gonna call them ugly. Heck no. And I think I even rebuked it one time. Someone was like, you know, I remember the ugly stage of my locks. I was like, my locks are not ugly. What are you talking about? I'm telling y'all, words have meaning and matter. They hold a lot of weight. I'm gonna zoom through these and then check back in with y'all once I get a little closer to being done with the second half of my head. So, hang out. I'm happy that I made it to the end of the style. That's something that tells me that I really do enjoy doing my own hair, is because most of the time I'm like here to experiment on it. I'm here to try out what's working, what's not, see it through the end, and hopefully I was able to execute something beautifully. But it's all a part of the patience and the process. Like, I have no clue what this is gonna look like. I am being fully transparent with you. Like, I just don't know. I've never done this before. You're experiencing this with me. So, challenging myself, testing myself to do things, and I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work. Just do it. Just do it. And you're gonna be fine. But I'm gonna sleep. Maybe hit these with a dryer before I go to bed, because I did not even towel dry them, t-shirt dry them, nothing. When I got out of the shower, I just kind of went right into it because I didn't want them to dry out before they actually had the chance to form a curl. We'll see. I'm excited. The anticipation is really setting in. I hope these come out great. I was just about to do my outro, but this video is not over. We'll see how I look in the morning. I will see you all in the next clip. I just wanted to pop back on. So this is the one that I'm gonna this is the one I'm gonna rinse out. And like, look at the curl in there. Hopefully these come out cute. Now I'm actually really excited. I'm about to go to sleep, but I still have to rinse it out. I just took the roller out and I was like, aha, looks good. So good night, y'all. Well, good night to me. See you later to you all. Bye. Good morning. So I just tied a very large scarf around my head. Sleeping, I had no issues. It wasn't uncomfortable. I was able to sleep pretty well. I feel like all of them are still intact, which is good. So I'm gonna take these down and talk about some of my reflections. I'm not sure why, but these rubber rollers that I tried to use the first time around, it's really sticking with me. And excuse my voice, I'm literally like minutes away from having just woken up. I'd say like maybe 30 minutes. I always like to do my devotional and just kind of have a moment with God before I do anything with my day. I haven't started my morning routine. You probably still see the crust in my eyes and around my mouth, but one thing I do like to make sure of before I'm leading into my day is having a moment with God. It is fairly new for me, and it's something I'm trying to make a constant in my life. You may even hear my dog start crying because I haven't even fed her and taken her outside. So I am, and there she is. The rubber rollers, it's really sitting and resting on my heart right now because I think there's such a bigger message behind that. Like, I think so often we see something isn't going to work, or the process that we had in mind isn't going to be executed like we thought, and we give up. We're like, it's not gonna work, whatever, I'll just try something else, or I'll just do something else, or do nothing is what I've resulted to sometimes. But I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted to have curly locks, and allowing myself to step back and be like, okay, well, figure out another way that you can get this. Like, figure out how you can still achieve this and make it happen is something that gives me like so much courage to continue doing other things in life without running the risk of like, what's gonna happen, or how's it gonna turn out, or is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? Like, just do it. Figure out in your mind what you think is going to work. Do a few trial runs to make sure you're like on track with it working, and then make it happen. I want to emphasize so much that if you do the work and not just talk about, okay, well, I'm gonna try something else, which is what I would result to. I don't think I would ever just give up and be like, I'm not gonna do that. I would talk a lot about, okay, well, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna do something else, but would never get to it in a timely manner. I would just be like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna get to that. But within, I would say 24 hours of me realizing, I would say actually like 12 hours of me realizing that the rubber rollers were not gonna work, I didn't think too much about what wasn't going to work. I hopped in my car, I saw the beauty supply store was still open. It was kind of late, and I just went in with a vision like, I need to find something that's gonna work, keep these curls intact. I had an idea on what to get. I was like, oh, I can just get regular rollers. But even when I got the regular rollers, I got home and realized that it wasn't gonna work. Like, the reason I put my ends in the hole is because it was unraveling so quickly, and I'm just kind of like popping in the mirror. I'm happy with the way this hairstyle looks. Please excuse me because it's early and I'm still waking up a bit, but you have to try things out different ways. There's such a beauty in starting what scares you. Starting this YouTube channel scared me. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And you can see within my earlier videos that like I was still very much so figuring it out. So that's probably my only closing remark that's really sitting with me. Like, something's not gonna work. You're going to face a problem in life, and then you have to figure out what that next solution is. Like, take your time, process. I talked to God. I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I want to have curls in my locks sometimes. Like, and I don't want to always do a 2-strand to execute that. What can I do? What can I do? These rubber rollers didn't work out. The plastic rollers, I got them and I was so excited, and I put them in my head and I was like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. But then I was like, I bought 5 or 6 packs of these. Like, you're just going to throw them away? Like, what are you going to do with these? You have all of this stuff. So I tried something. I tried putting a rubber band on the end, and I was like, I have to put a rubber band on each of these rollers and then secure. It just felt like an extra step. And I was like, I don't need to do that. So then I thought, and I was like, why don't I just put like a little bit of hair in the end and see if that holds? And lo and behold, it worked. Now this will become a regular style for me, I think. I haven't really looked at what I'm looking like and how my hair is coming out, but it is something that I was easily able to do. It didn't take much time. I slept just fine, and I don't have to do too much work to take them out and have my curls be popping. I'm thinking that's a win. So don't give up on yourself. I know it's easy to give up and be like, this isn't gonna work. And when I give up on situations, or I choose to remove myself from a situation and say, oh, it's not gonna work, like I already tried it, that does not feel good inside. I'm like, I know there's something else you could have done, Mia. I tell myself that. I'm like, I know you could have tried something else. And then moments like this where I did try something else, and I tried something else, and I tried something else, and then eventually figure out how it worked, it makes it very clear how I should be maneuvering through life. Because I sometimes get in the headspace where I'm like, this is gonna be too hard. I can't do it. That's gonna be too hard for me. And I don't try. And this is just becoming very clear to me, and a lot of things have been happening in this season of my life where I'm like, girl, just do it. Just do it, try something else, finish the task, get it done. And the feeling I have when I complete that task, I'm like, oh, this is good. This is a good feeling for me. So, note to self, Nia, like, finish the task. I don't care how you do it. Take some time to think about it. Let your mind focus on the task so that you can actually come up with good ideas and focus on, how you're going to reach that end goal, but just do it. Because sometimes the end goal isn't as clear in my mind as it was for these rollers. Sometimes I'm like, I have no clue how I'm going to finish this out. But if I just do it, along the way, things might pop in my brain, and I'm like, oh, wow, like God really gave me the vision of how I can finish out this task, like how I can execute on this. And it is such a good feeling for me. I am going to chase that good feeling for the rest of my life. Like, being able to achieve that level of peace and happiness by executing tasks. Like, I'm not saying that everybody's gonna feel that sense of joy when they execute their own tasks. You might, but I have no clue what goes on in other people's heads. I know what goes on in my head, and I know that when I have a vision or when I see something and then I execute something and it doesn't work out the way I wanted to and I give up, that does not make me feel good. It's when I finish the task, I execute it, I found different ways that were going to work, and then I complete the task, I'm like, that feels kind of good. So it's what's working for me. I'm gonna keep it up. I don't see this process becoming too routine where I'm like, it's not working anymore. Like, you set your mind to a task, you achieve it, you finish it, that's gonna be good for a lifetime. I am putting that out there right now. Like, my grandpa used to tell me, nothing is out of your reach because it's in your blood. Like, what? Like, nothing is out of your reach. Whatever you put your mind to, you can successfully achieve. Whatever you put your mind to. And I have been allowing that quote to sit on my heart for a very long time. He told me that years ago. And I was like, wow, like that is some wisdom. Those are some real words of wisdom, and I'm just going with it. So I'm gonna finish taking these out, close out this video, and enjoy my curls. I'm just glancing in the mirror. I really haven't seen what they look like yet, but I'm like, let me just get these out. I'm so happy with this. Again, it's morning time, so the energy level is just like, it's still waking up. But my hair, it suffers a lot in the winter time and it gets dry still. I was like, oh, locks, I won't have that problem. No, I still have that problem. My hair gets really dry in the winter time. So I'm gonna oil it up. I'm gonna do my morning routine. I'm gonna get myself together. I'm gonna have a great day because I am very happy about how this style came out. But I knew that I wanted my hair to be a certain length, a certain level of maturity. I wanted my hair to be at a certain point before I'm executing all these styles. So I'm happy with where I'm at. If you all are watching this video and you are feeling motivated and you're feeling encouraged, I encourage you to use this time, to use this energy, to use this motivation, and go execute something that you want to do. Set a goal for the day, achieve that goal, and finish it out. Like, finish the task. Thank you all for doing styles with purpose. Like this video, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you feel is in your heart to do once you're done watching. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks, bye.